Neena Dutta. She's a principal attorney at Dutta Law Firm. Neena, thanks so much for joining us. Just noting in that report there, stating that the number of refugees have quadrupled since this time last year. Would you agree with that, and why?
So there's definitely been a huge increase, partially because Title 42 was lifted, but also because conditions. I mean, even in New York, as recent as this weekend, we've seen weather changes. We've seen extreme weather. There's, of course, a lot of violence that's happening, in Central America, which has not lightened up.
So Costa Rica's president to declare a state of emergency in late September was a fairly extreme measure. Talk about how this suspends civil rights, what impact it has on those who are migrating, and also on those in the community who people are migrating through.
Of course. So whenever there's any type of catastrophe or there's an ongoing issue, of course, post World War II, the US did sign on, as many countries in the world did, to accept refugees and asylum seekers. What we haven't been able to do is to come to an international agreement of how to combat the crisis. And so we really need to all work together to figure out a orderly way to assist people.
Talk to us a little bit about what some people are facing in their daily lives. We know that many Venezuelans are coming towards the United States from plenty of other countries too. Give us a bit of insight into what it is that these people are running from.
There's enormous, there could be gang violence, there can be political violence, people's children are being threatened. I've done some work at the border, and a lot of times it's the mothers of teenage sons or preteen sons who run because their children are being recruited. So there's, it really depends which country they're coming from, but there's, threats of violence in their daily lives, and that's a lot of times what people are running from.
Now, as you mentioned earlier, the pandemic border restrictions known as Title 42 has ended, lifting a policy that had sharply limited access to asylum since March 2020. In its place, though, the Biden administration has implemented a combination of new asylum rules and legal pathways. Talk to us about what those pathways are and the impact they're having on the US-Mexico border.
So I think, whenever people present themselves and they are therefore in the system, that makes a huge difference. So I think there's been, while there is an overwhelming number of people, there's been a great effort by the administration to try to figure out who is here and therefore help people. There's a lot of misnomers, especially I've seen in New York, people thinking that the busloads of people are illegal. They're not actually here unlawfully. They presented themselves. If they have been processed with paperwork, they are here lawfully until they're processed.
Okay, Neena Dutta, thank you very much for your time. Principal Attorney at Dutta Law Firm.